Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone, this is Afnan Firdausi and today I'll be explaining UseReducer hook. Okay, so before I go to the coding part, I want to give you guys a bit of backstory of UseReducer. So UseReducer is actually just another hook of React, just like useState, useEffect, useContext and all. And UseReducer is used for state management. Alright, UseReducer is used for state management. Now you guys might be wondering, we already have useState for state management. Why use UseReducer? Alright, so useState is actually built using UseReducer. useState is built using UseReducer. So that makes UseReducer the primitive version of useState. Alright, now let's jump into our coding part. So in our UseReducer function, UseReducer hook, we pass two values. One is a reducer function that we make ourselves, and another is our initial state, the initial state of our application. Okay, and this UseReducer hook returns us our current state, and a dispatch function, and this dispatch function helps us passing the action we want our application to do after triggering certain events. Dispatch function helps us pass certain actions after triggering certain events. Alright, so this might also sound complicated and all, but trust me, after the end of this video you guys will be clear about UseReducer. Alright, to understand UseReducer properly, we first have to understand the reducer function. Okay, so before I explain reducer function, I want to give you guys a real life example. Suppose you have a lot of toys, and in your toys there's a toy car, alright, and your toy car starts moving if you press the on button, and it stops moving after you press the off button. So here you have two buttons, an off button and an on button, and if you press the on button your car starts moving, and if you press the off button your car stops moving. So here we have two actions and two states of the car and two actions. So what are our actions? We have pressing the on button and pressing the off button, and our states are the car moving and the car not moving. So when we are pressing the on button, our car is moving, and when we are pressing the off button, our car is not moving. Okay, our car stops moving. Now let me explain the reducer function. In our reducer function, we have passed two parameters. One is our current state and another is the action we want our application to do. And in there, we have a switch statement. Where we passed the action we got from here. Okay. And then we have multiple cases, and these cases are just actions. We are passing by our dispatch function. Okay, and then we are returning what we want to do if this action happens. So if our action is increased, what would happen to our application? It would add one to our current state. Okay, and what would happen if our action is decreased? It would subtract one from our current state. And what would happen if our action is default? All right, it would just take our application to its default, to its initial state, which is 0. We declared it in here. All right, now let me show you guys the live example of it. So here's the live example. So these are our three actions, and this is our state. This is where we are showing our state. Okay, let me show you. Like, this is where we're showing our state. Okay, this is our state, and if we press these buttons, it will change states. We gave the commands in our switch statement, in our reducer function. All right, now if I press the increase button, it will add 1. Okay, because in the switch function I told my code that you have to add 1 to my current state. Again, let me press the increase, so it is adding 1 each time I press. And if I press the decrease, it just decreases, it just subtracts 1 from my current state, which my current state is 6. So if I press the decrease button, it will be 5. See, 5 decrease 4. And if I press the reset button, it will take my state to initial state. I declared that my initial state is 0. So if I press the reset button, our state is going back to 0. Okay, so I hope you understood that. So let me just give you guys a bit of recap. In our UseReducer hook, we pass two values, a reducer function that we make ourselves and an initial state that we declared before. Okay, and this UseReducer function returns us our current state that we show in our application, this current state that we show in our application, and a dispatch function that helps us pass the action we want our application to do after triggering certain events. Alright, and reducer function, in our reducer function we pass two parameters, a state parameter and an action parameter, and in it we have a switch statement where we pass the action, where we pass our action, and there in the switch statement we have multiple cases, multiple actions that we that our application will do, and that switch statement returns what would happen if that happened, if this action happens, what would happen to my state. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear about UseReducer now, and yeah, thank you for listening patiently. That's it for today. Assalamu alaikum. Goodbye.